So, as we've covered, Sam Darnold was traded to the Carolina Panthers from the New York Jets a couple days ago. Now, there's a couple things that need to be discussed with the trade. Now, first of all, the Panthers didn't have to give up what I thought they would have to. They only, the Jets only received a sixth rounder as well, a sixth rounder this year, and also a second and fourth rounder. I thought they could potentially receive a little bit, but it's actually a great deal for both teams. So, kind of going over the deals and parameters of the deal. They got a sixth rounder of this draft, and then a fourth rounder for both the a second and fourth rounder for both 2022. So overall, it's in my mind, I think it's a great trade. You get a guy that really, in my mind, has a lot of talent and a lot of things to offer in the NFL still. And through no fault of his own, through essentially no talent on the Jets and the way that they are, it was going to be rough. And I think a lot of people knew that Sam Darnold still has some talent, still has some things that he can bring to the NFL. Now, why would you say, Colton, that there was no talent on the Jets? Well, let's look at let's look at who his surrounding cast was. Okay, he had Frank Gore starting at running back. Now, I love me some Frank Gore, and I think a lot of people do, but I mean, he's clearly he's past his prime, but he can still get the job done. But he's no threat like he was earlier in his career. Jamison Crowder. I'm gonna repeat that. Jamison Crowder was this man's leading receiver. Again, no disrespect for Mr. Crowder, had almost 700 yards, 6 touchdowns. But when you got guys like Brashad Perryman and Denzel Mims, who you thought were going to make way more of an impact, and only to have Jamison Crowder as your leading receiver, you gotta have more than that. A little bit of background on Sam Darnold has passed for over 8,000 yards in his career, 45 touchdowns and 39 picks after being the third overall selection at USC by the New York Jets. In my mind, it has hampered him to be in the situation he was for this amount of time. Now, to be going to a system, we talk about the supporting cast that the Panthers have, and just the way that this entire team is coming together. This is going to be something special. When you think about Joe Brady, what he did at LSU with Joe Burrow, and what you think about with Sam Darnold as he heads into his fourth year of his NFL career, and legitimately has, not only will he have a supporting cast, he'll have a young defense, a young, hungry, and upcoming defense. Let's talk about the Panthers for a second. We talk about they not only they have one, but 2 1,000-yard receivers last season. Now, they did lose Curtis Samuel in free agency. They'll probably have to go get a guy later in the draft. But honestly, I could see the Panthers going after a guy like Kyle Pitts out of Florida, which, can you imagine what Kyle Pitts would do with Sam Darnold, 2 1,000-yard receivers, and Christian McCaffrey? I mean, just exciting. I mean, and we bring into the fact, the Panthers were closer, and we made a video about this. They're closer than we think. Christian McCaffrey didn't even was injured for a large part of the season. And we also consider the fact that 2 1,000-yard receivers in Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore, who, by the way, DJ Moore is the real deal. I'm really excited for what that young man continues to do in the NFL. But Robert Anderson, the speedster, and the field stretcher, you're going to go out and probably get a guy like Kyle Pitts, who I think the Panthers should definitely target with that 8th. I believe they have the 8th overall pick. But at the end of the day, Sam Darnold, based on the talent he will have, and I mean, especially if the Panthers get a guy like Kyle Pitts, or even a top wide receiver like Devontae Smith at the 8th overall pick, even though I don't think he'll fall that far. The point is, if they can get him one more weapon, i.e. Kyle Pitts or Devontae Smith, whatever it is, maybe some offensive line help, a very slight offensive line help, because I think the Panthers' offensive line is overall pretty solid. He could take them to the next level, in that he could take them to the playoffs. Because I have seen some things from Sam Darnold over the last couple seasons, some throws, some plays that he makes, that I don't have any questions about Sam Darnold or his talent. I had questions about his supporting cast in New York, but I never had a question about his talent. So if you give Sam Darnold the things he needs, after this, I can honestly say the excuses will be out for Sam Darnold. If he does not have a good season in Carolina, that's probably about it. I mean, and I didn't even cover the fact you have two 1,000-yard receivers in Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore with Teddy Bridgewater as your quarterback. I'm a Vikings fan. I love Teddy Bridgewater. I think he is the perfect stopgap quarterback. Never quite panned out as a franchise quarterback, but I love Teddy Bridgewater. But to have two 1,000-yard receivers with Teddy Bridgewater as your starting quarterback, that says something. That means this team has talent. It's got young talent on defense, Jeremy Chin, all over. I mean, it really is all over Brian Burns, who had 9 sacks last year. This team is gushing with talent. If they can get Kyle Pitts or maybe another top wide receiver in the first round, and maybe a little bit of offensive line help, watch out for the Carolina Panthers, because Sam Darnold will take them to the next level. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support. Now go out there and have a great rest.